Welcome to On Football with me, Rob Maaddi. We're in Week 12, and the Kansas City Chiefs are 5-5, facing a must-win this week against the 8-2 Indianapolis Colts, who are coming off a bye. That's the game of the week in the NFL, along with the Buccaneers versus the Rams in LA. Not a great schedule this week. It was loaded last week. We'll see what the games shake out to be. Eagles and Cowboys also a big one. Our special guest, New Orleans Saints linebacker Demario Davis. Stay tuned for that conversation, along with some pro picks. Shedeur Sanders finally made his NFL debut with the Cleveland Browns, and he struggled, much to the delight of so many of his haters out there. But here's the truth. Shedeur was in a very difficult, nearly impossible situation. He comes in to face a Ravens team that's desperate, that has to win. He doesn't take any reps in practice all week. Hasn't really taken any reps all season in practice. He was a third-string quarterback, then a backup, and he has to come in cold, play for the first time since August. It's really as tough as it gets, and I'm not trying to make any excuses. It's just reality. That was a very difficult situation for Shedeur. Now, if he practices all week as the starter and Dillon Gabriel can't come back because of concussion, well, it's a much better opportunity to judge Shedeur going against an awful Raiders team this week. Demario Davis has been a first or second team All-Pro linebacker 4 times. He's still playing at a high level, and he's a man who does a ton of work in the community. Demario, great to see you, man. Great to talk to you again, as always. It's been a challenging year for the Saints, but you guys are coming off a win. What's it like for you to be part of? You've been part of some teams that are Super Bowl contenders, play deep into the playoffs. Now to be part of a team that's kind of on a rebuild. What's that been like for you this year?
It's been interesting. My main thing is I was just focused on what's in front of me. And I get the opportunity to do that with some great guys, some great coaches. And I can't always control all the circumstances that's going on around you, but you can control how you show up each and every day. A quote that was on my locker when I was in college was, you learn a lot about a person and how they win, but you learn even more about a person and how they lose. And for me, it's about how I show up each and every day. And even though it's been, a tough and challenging year, I think I've been able to keep the right perspective and continue to show up the right way. We were able to come off and build a little momentum with a win this past week. We hopefully can keep that going. But I've been able to have one of my best seasons to date, and I think it's just because of being able to show up with that right perspective. And I think when you can control what you can control, eventually the rest will kind of come into your favor.
Yeah, tell me about that, because 14 seasons, 36 years old, and you're playing at a high level at a position that's so demanding. How are you able to do it?
I don't think there's one thing that goes into it. I think there's a series of things that allow me to continue to do this. I think number one, when I came in, I was playing with a lot of veterans, and I learned at an early age how to take care of my body, how to do the little things consistently. I've been blessed to build a great team around me, and this is year round at this point. What our training, what our recovery looks like every single day. There's a regimen and a process to it. I think I've been blessed to play with a lot of great coaches that have helped me learn and how to think about the game. And so I'm not having to exert so much energy when I'm playing. Even though I'm playing every snap, I'm able to be in a very controlled and organized manner from a mental standpoint. And I think, man, it still requires a lot of just things that you can't, control. What people would call luck, I call blessings. I've been protected to not have sustained anything that has kept me out for extended periods of time. And that just allows me to continue to play at a high level. And I don't think there's a unique recipe for it. I think somebody could probably do all the things that I'm doing and not get that same results. But I've been very blessed, and I'm very grateful to be where I am today in this game.
Have you thought about the future and what that looks like for you yet?
Not much. I'm kind of I always tell people I'm on a 1-year contract with the Lord. When He says I'm done, I'm done. So I just take what's in front of me. And this year, like I said, though it's been challenging from an external standpoint, for me, it's been a blessing to be able to show up and still play this game at a high level. And at this point, I'm on pace to have one of my best seasons. So it's just a blessing. And I'm one at a time.
How have you, Demario, embraced that mentoring role of helping the young guys, helping them get ready for the future, helping them get ready for what it looks like to be someone like you who's around and can whether it's from a standpoint of taking care of their health, taking care of their mental, taking care of their spiritual, taking care of everything. How have you been able to embrace that role?
Man, that's really, I think a major part of my focus is what can I give to the locker room. Since college, I've always saw the locker room as a mission field, and it's about, reaching those guys. And I kind of came in with that mentality, but it lends itself to it even more that I'm 14 years in and have so much expertise and wisdom that I can share with those guys. It means the world to me because most people don't know what it's like to be an athlete and the demands that goes on. Everybody sees like the money and the success and, the celebrity and the flair. But what people don't know is what that pressure really does on the inside. And when it's just a human being trying to make decisions with that much pressure, people actually make the worst decisions when they're under pressure. And so, I think it's easy to be standoffish and look at some of the decisions that people make. But man, people are struggling and they don't always have the tools and the coping mechanisms to make it through what it is that they're dealing with. And so they need people who understand what they're going through to help talk them through and help them navigate not just the things that are going on the field, but things that are going off. I mean, you just look around, we've seen some tragic things happen, over these past couple of weeks and months, just with former players and things like that. And they need people inside the locker room that can help them navigate what they're dealing with on and off the field. And I take a lot of pride in doing that. And it's been a blessing for me to have some of the conversations and the relationships that I have with some of my teammates that are in the early stages of their career, especially.
You do a lot of work in the community. You do a ton of philanthropy, and you've partnered with Stand Together. That's your choice for the My Cause, My Cleats. What kind of attracted you about their mission and what they're doing?
Man, I get so excited when I talk about Stand Together, and this is such, a partnership that's so much worthy of praise, because Stand Together is a philanthropic community that empowers change makers and leaders inside the communities that they're in and help accelerate and scale the impact of the work they're doing. It's this mindset. We have a united mindset that the best solutions come from bottom up, not top down. And I think we live in a society where there's a tendency to wait on top-down solutions, but the real way to create change is to go into the communities where the work is already happening and empower those solutions and those leaders and those social entrepreneurs and to help them create change. And that's what they've really done around our work with Devoted Dreamers in the communities that we work with. They've kind of saw our work and helped us scale our impact. And that's what they do all throughout the country. And so with My Cause, My Cleats, I get to highlight a lot of the work that is happening nationally in over 600 communities with over 350 organizations that are doing some really great work in the communities that they live in, and really just have this message to the nation that we're in a time where it can feel like we're very divided and just kind of waiting for change and when it's going to come, is to really just send the message that change is happening. And it's happening right now, and it's happening in communities around you, and really just calling people into the game and saying, hey, we need you. We need you in the communities that you're in to identify change that can happen. Or if you're already doing that work, we want to know about you and how can we link arms and help expand it and accelerate that work.
What is your goal? What is your hope as far as your legacy, man, with everything that you're doing? And I know you got a long way to go and a whole lot more work to get done. But what would you like people to, when they hear your name, when they think about Demario Davis? Obviously, you've been an all-pro linebacker on the field. You've been able to sustain success for over a decade and a half. But overall, when your legacy, how would you like to be viewed?
I would love to be viewed as a person that has motivated somebody to feel like they can change the world. That somebody looked at me and say, man, because of him, I felt like I could change the world. Because I watched him and I heard him and I felt like I could do the same thing. That's what I would want to motivate, because that's all I want is, hey, just get in the game. We need you. It's somebody that's around you that you're going to make smile, that you can bring some kindness to, that you can help, that I can't help. And just because you feel that way, that you can do something, you will. And that's all. If I could be remembered as that when somebody looked at me, it's like, I saw him and he made me feel like I could change the world, because you can. And that's what's happening right now.
It's time to pick more winners. The four-pack is 32-11-1 straight up and 28-15-1 against the spread following another winning week last week. For my best bet, I'm going against the New York Giants again. Sorry, Jameis. The 2-9 Giants at Detroit against the 6-4 Lions. The Lions are 10.5-point favorites. The Giants' biggest highlight of the week will probably be Cam Scatterboo and some of his teammates getting into it on WWE's Monday Night Raw. Now, I don't know what Cam was doing out there, throwing punches and shoves or whatever it was, with a boot freshly off surgery. Come on, man. Got to be careful, but the Lions need to get back on track after their offense was terrible in Philly. Jared Goff struggled against the Eagles. Dan Campbell, he's aggressive. He's going to live and die by his aggressive nature, and he was 0 for 5 going for it on fourth down. But the Lions defense really stood out against the Eagles, held them to 16 points, actually stopped the tush push 5 times. Twice it was negated by penalty, but 3 times it counted. They'll be back home and back to winning. Lions 33-17. For my upset special, I'm looking at Kirk Cousins and the 3-7 Falcons at New Orleans. The Saints are 2-8. They're coming off a bye, and they're 1.5-point favorites. Now, Cousins, he's going to return to the starting lineup with Michael Penix Jr. out. The Falcons are going nowhere at this point. A disappointing season. Raheem Morris has to be on the hot seat. All they have to do, even without Drake London this week too as well, all they have to do on offense, give the ball to Bijan Robinson. That's the best game plan. The Saints are rested. They're looking for a second straight win behind rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck. Atlanta had the number 1 pass defense in the NFL before Bryce Young threw for 448 against them. They'll bounce back. Falcons 22-20. For the final 2 games, I'm looking at games with big numbers. Seattle 7-3 at Tennessee 1-9. The Seahawks 13-point favorites. Unfortunately for Seattle, big game Sam Darnold showed up last week. He threw 4 interceptions. Yet the Seahawks were still in position, and Darnold led them in the field goal range at the end. They would have beat the Rams if they didn't miss a 61-yard field goal. Their defense has been sensational. Cam Ward and the Titans have the worst offense in the NFL. They've got no chance against Seattle. Seahawks 27-6. Lastly, I'm looking at the New York Jets against the Baltimore Ravens. Jets are 2-8. Ravens are back at 500 finally after a 1-5 start. They've won 4 in a row. They're 5-5, and they're 14-point favorites in this one. Tyrod Taylor gets an opportunity for the Jets. They've benched Justin Fields. They're already looking ahead to the draft next year. They stockpiled all those picks. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are only 1 game behind the Steelers, but they haven't put it all together yet. They had to rally and come back to beat the Browns. They can't look past the Jets in this one. I don't see that happening. Ravens 34-10. That's it for this week. Thank you to Demario Davis. Thank you for listening to On Football, and thanks to Haya Pinjwani and Guillermo Gonzalez for producing this episode. Please check out apnews.com for the full pro picks, including the Chiefs-Colts game, the Bucks-Rams game, and others, On Football analysis, and much more NFL news.